What's up, Joseph?
What ho, what ho?
Does your mom still call you Joseph?
No,
Joey?
I think,
Joey?
yeah, I still get that occasionally. Joey.
Joey. Joey.
Joey. No, I don't get it like
You
that.
get
We're
the
not.
Italian. You get the Italian Joey because you're not Italian.
No,
You're
no, we're
Irish.
like Irish English. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
Irish.
I'm all British mongrel. But my mom is the English, Scottish, Welsh, and my dad is like half Irish, half English.
All right. All right. I'm about 90 something percent German and split. Oh, that's not true. 70% something German, and then the rest is splashes of everything.
Yeah, there's a little bit of French in there too, from some Aunt Laville or whatever from like 1804 or something. So I figured that's got to be a little like quarter point in there.
I was going to keep teasing it out just so people will keep listening. But for those of you joining us today for Bitcoin Thursday with Sean, he's not going to be able to make it. Has something in the family that he has to take care of today. So he will be here tomorrow. And we've got queued up for tomorrow. Let me get the exact topic we're going to talk about here. Tomorrow,
Hey, make sure we ask. I want to talk a little bit about XMR tomorrow, because I've heard him talk about Monero in the past, and I just want to see what he
that's
thinks.
a good idea.
Yeah,
Cool.
okay.
And the other thing he wants to go into is cycle trading in cycles, which is, it's basically a core piece of what he does, but he wants to dive into that deeper. So looking forward to that tomorrow. It's always awesome to have Sean on expounding his wisdom, but that also means I don't have a ton of shit fucking loaded up, Joe.
Well, why don't we start on we got a couple of things. Well, first of all, man, I mean, the biggest threaded tweet I ever saw came out of you, I think, yesterday. I'm scrolling up, my whole feed filled up with like 75 messages.
I had a thread that I had already written like with 70 of my, because I wanted an intro pinned tweet
for each show.
What we do, and then in the thread every show. Well, I was doing another thread last night, and I'm like, fuck, I've got this stupid thread queued up in my Chur app. I use this app called Chur app to do threads. And I had written the draft of it and done most of it, and then I hadn't done like the last 10 episodes. And I'm like, all right, fucking finish that, Brad, before you start another goddamn thread, you ADHD freak shit.
Superstar.
Superstar of ADHD. So I finished it up last night. And then, of course, that equals like 80 something tweets. But the engagement's nice. So, that's good.
Yeah, I know. And it's a good reference. So anybody who's on any of those projects or sees a tag on any of those projects can then come in and see a cool video with the founder or, the senior team. So I thought it was really good. I was just going. Yeah, I was just going through going,
anybody
what
that
the fuck,
follows,
30?
that's brutal. Yeah, my apologies to everyone that follows me. Or that even dares to have alerts on for me and then gets like 4,000 alerts. That's painful.
Well, you only got one. I only got one alert.
Oh, good.
But it was all of it. But I thought it was good because I was like, oh shit, I love this, going through. Yeah. But then I got a little winded scrolling up the screen and I had to take a break at that point, get a nap in.
But we had in that opening tweet, I said, hey, anybody has show ideas, feel free to reach out. We're always open to it. And the guys at fucking X7 that you've been looking at said, hey, somebody says you should do a show about X7. Love to see you on. So I know you've been diving in a little bit to that project. I don't know if you want to get into that today or not. But,
I could talk a little bit about it. Yeah, I met him through a thread that was about the Winklevi Silver fight thing thread. I was in there talking about decentralization, and then Flux Capacitor introduced me to X7. I took a look, and then I went to the AMA yesterday, dialoguing with the CEO as well, about getting on the show and listened to it. And they had some. I mean, look, we got to dig in deeper, of course, but there was a really interesting thing there about liquidity pools and, the ability where they're going to be doing, let's say you had your token paired with ETH on Uniswap. And, those usually are, $500,000, $2 million to set those up. Well, you can evidently now basically get that money back you borrow against it. So you have the funds for the liquidity pool, but then you have all that $1 or $2 million back in your treasury for working capital, for marketing, for dev, for, and I thought, that was kind of interesting. Now,
definitely.
The another thing is they're doing like a launchpad thing too for startup devs. So anybody that dev, I think this is like, a dev and a project and an idea, not full teams yet. But you can go in there and there's a pool where you can borrow against the project. Now, I don't know the interest rates and all of that, but you can basically get funding to, 15, 20 grand to get your thing going. And the way it works, go ahead.
So how do they just let you borrow against potential future revenue, or you have to have an existing thing that they can see?
Well, that's the part I don't quite know yet. I think they're just doing it based upon the quality of the project and the idea, that part. But the big thing is that, look, I started thinking about Alchemix again after the AMA yesterday. And, I'm going to find out today. I'm talking to one of them today later on in the afternoon, but I'll figure out exactly how that works. But it seemed to me that what if somebody got to the point with, how Alchemix does the self-payback loans? Right. What if somebody could do that? And this might be what they're doing in the liquidity pool loans. So let's say that, or maybe the startup loans where they do, they have to go, they have to go get yield somewhere, but is my understanding. But, it seems like there's a lot of cool wrinkles. And I just hadn't seen anybody really talk about it this way, about the liquidity pools. Because I always remember when we were when other clients were setting up liquidity pools, that, somebody's got to post some bank there, basically. Right. And a lot of times you don't want to be the one setting up the liquidity pool if you're the protocol owner for, regulatory reasons, let's say. So a community member will post some, and then, then other people will post more into those LPs. But if that takes that off the board to where now you can, if I'm understand it correctly, pull them, like say you had an Uniswap, you would migrate it from Uniswap to their platform. It goes into their platform as an LP, but then you pull back XB7 tokens, I believe, and then you could use those to capture yield somewhere else or sell back to something else, is my understanding. I think you get yield for something. So it's a pretty, I got to dig deeper. And I want others, Eamon was on there with me yesterday. And, he sees stuff different. He looks at different things than I do. He's really smart contracts. He's looking at that kind of stuff where I'm looking at, the business model and the idea. Right. And it seems like if you're talking about efficiency of capital rotation, that there's something promising there. But I'll know more. But I invite everybody who's listening to just check it out. There's nothing. We're not. We don't have anything from them. We're not promoting them. It's just one that we discovered and are digging into. So Shizzy, Eamon, Niblets. Anybody else I forgot?
Yeah, let's crowdsource some research on this bad boy. You lead it.
Yeah.
And we'll get these other guys to take a look at it and give, Eamon from his perspective of the tech, and he's really good on the tokenomics side of things as well. This sounds really fucking interesting, dude.
Yeah, I was really surprised. They do have some, it seems like there's a little posse there around it too. Kind of what we call them, X7D hodlers or X7 hodlers that, aren't selling. And I noticed some of them are in some of the other, say, more social tokens. So there's a lot of marketing muscle behind it. But, I'm looking under the hood at the business model, and I'd love to see some other guys look under the hood at the tech. Just to, but it looks interesting.
No, it really sounds like look, if it works the way you're kind of describing it, this could be a really interesting solution to an ongoing problem in the space. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. So, just one that popped up out of nowhere. I'm also talking to another group that's not on Twitter or necessarily in, say, crypto, but it's a cyber product. We'll call it similar to an intrusion protection, IPS type stuff from 15 years ago. It's a neural network play, but they're using artificial intelligence to predict zero-day attacks on mobile and cloud platforms. So security in those distributed aspects of networks, which, where they got a big offshore development team. They're onshore. They look super credible, but, I'm waiting to get the demo. As soon as I see the demo, then I want to get them on to meet everybody here too, because it also has blockchain in it, but there's not a token. Okay. So it's one of those ones where you can, look at it and go, oh, that's kind of interesting, because it combines AI and cyber and blockchain into a 0-day prevent play. Now, again, we know that there's problems with stuff in the cloud. I mean, just look at the LastPass hack, and I'm always concerned about that. So if they have, I think the first products deal mostly with cloud and mobile as far as protecting stuff, but then the AI component is like 60% built. And the last piece is kind of the blockchain. I don't quite understand how that fits in yet, but it looks like a really interesting play. And once I'm talking to them later today as well, once I get permission, I want to share that name here too, so that our SWAT research team can take a look.
Robertus says, nice, looking forward to it. To Sean coming on. Shizzy says,
cool.
X7 sounds interesting. He said he'll look into it today. Niblet says the idea of self-paying loans and community leverage is developing into an important feature of the insurance play he's been cooking up.
I remember that.
Yeah, me too. So that could be really interesting. Looking forward to hearing more, Niblets. Let's chat. So that's fantastic. Good. Love it.
Yeah.
Let me see what I did load up in the news today. Let's see. No, that's politics. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, and just there's another a couple other projects that are percolating with members of the community here that I think have a lot of legs too. And I know people that they listen, and if it's the fact that I didn't say it is just because I want to make sure you're ready.
We don't want to disclose. We don't want to disclose who and what, and conversations we're having with other people about the projects they're working on until they're comfortable having that conversation. Absolutely, and then we'll have them on the show to really talk about it. Right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Absolutely. So we're kind of building out this. It's interesting because the other day I was thinking about. Not the other day. Last night when I was putting together that whole list, I realized how much of the focus of the interviews I've done have been focused upon how these projects succeed, right? How to go about succeeding. And I was putting out the tweet about yesterday's show when we talked about Wire and the opportunity for a crypto payment gateway that's small and nimble to come in and take over. And what I kind of realized, Joe, is that we spend a pretty significant amount of time on our show and on the interview show talking about how projects can succeed. And I don't want to go away from the idea of sharing new projects and new things people can invest in and talking about those as well. But I do think that what's interesting is that we've had so many people that listen to the show come to us to talk about helping out with their project. And so I think that I don't know where this leads, but it's kind of seems to be leading towards almost a community-based, I don't want to say incubator or fund or anything like that, but it's starting to lead to where this is collaboration amongst us and the folks who participate in the community that we need to maybe explore a little further.
Yeah, it's sort of like a distributed sort of not launch pad, but it's like a fund, it's like a portfolio, but it's community based. Okay, yeah. It's not centralized. So I find it kind of interesting in that aspect, and I also like the fact that I started to see some connections coming in members of the community around projects too. So it's not just like the show's at the center and everybody's around it. It's that it's like a scatter plot of things where all these like a web, all these links amongst the individual participants aren't going through a centralized place. Here it's going direct, which is very cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. No, I'm pretty excited about it. So look, we'll see where it all leads to, but it's very interesting the way it's kind of and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So what do we got here?
Well, Silvergate's. So Silvergate did an early filing or something, basically saying that they had to cut staff by 200 in the third quarter, and so 40% of its total employees, because there was 8.1 billion in withdrawals. And other people have pointed out, I think it was a Wall Street Journal article, but I'm not sure, that in fact they liquidated a ton of debt that was on its balance sheet, and they lost $718 million in the process of doing that. And that basically is more than they've profited since 2013 with the bank. So, again, this is FTX, 3AC, all of this fucking contagion or whatever word you want to use to describe it. But Silvergate is actually pretty significant as a bank in the crypto space, and they custody a lot of shit. So anyway, it's interesting. I'd forgotten
quick
that
question.
they paid $200 million to Facebook to buy the DM project technology.
Yeah.
So they buy that technology, and then 2 other projects start off using the technology as well. So anyway, go ahead. What?
Quick question. I sort of forgot what Silvergate was, but now I remember. Is that the bank in Wyoming? That's
no, I don't know where they're located, but that's not the one you're thinking of. You're thinking of what's her name?
Caitlin, right?
Caitlin.
Yeah,
that's a different bank. Silvergate has been around for a while. I'm trying to find out. I don't know where they're located actually. I want to say California, but I can't remember.
So here's what I'm getting to is that it's a bank and they're taking custody of crypto. So it's insured if it's a bank.
Well, yeah, up to those deposit levels. Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Whereas Celsius isn't, Gemini isn't, Genesis isn't, DCG isn't, FTX isn't, Coinbase is just security broker stuff, SIPC thing. It's not federally insured, but Silvergate is. So look, if you're going to go custody stuff, that's the type of thing you want to do it with. You don't want to do it with the ones that aren't insured if you're going to custody. I don't. But, if that's what you're into and you're a TradeFi normie or just getting into crypto or just have a BTC stack and do nothing, this is the type of place where you would want to go, because then you don't get stuff vaporizing to zero. I mean, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, of course. And I think that does make sense that having the insurance there is important. But, I think this, cutting 40% of your staff and taking a $718 million hit on your far greater than your existing profits since 2013, I'd be a little bit concerned about the stability of the bank. But you're right.
Oh yeah, no. So, no, I agree 100%. I'm just saying in a normal world where we're looking at Celsius and Gemini and Silvergate and all of those types of things, one of the things, if you're going to custody in that world, you got to look for the insurance. And so if this tells me that if it's a bank, a real bank, that they have the Fed insurance behind them. And so the Fed is insuring.
Bank. Yeah, It is a real bank. Now, whether or not the crypto tokens are insured, they probably have a separate insurance policy for crypto.
You're probably right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How does Fidelity, do you know how Fidelity does it? Because I know they custody too.
I don't know, but I would assume that Fidelity does some kind of alternative insurance policy for the crypto that's held, just like Coinbase does.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but don't know. Shizzy says he could be mistaken, but he's pretty sure Tether has a big relationship with Silvergate. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know that for sure, but if you get any more information, let us know.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah. So let me find this one that Niblets brought up, because I've got it loaded up. Yeah, if you played with the Celsius Earn product and deposited your funds in there, those are no longer your funds. Actually, they weren't your funds anymore after you deposited them, because the terms of use basically say, and a bankruptcy judge just basically said you're fucked. So But one thing to remember is that, look, the user agreement language basically said, I guess you don't have the keys, it's not yours. But I think everybody has to remember too that all of those depositors are also creditors in the bankruptcy case. So while they don't want them withdrawing all of it, it is in the estate and they make a claim against that. And when they settle all the obligations, they get some percentage, which will probably be, 80, 85% is my guess. Well,
So
you hope it's still there. That much is still there. But yeah, I mean, that would be
yeah,
nice.
but no,
I mean,
because I think some.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. You talk. I'll wait.
Look, I think the topic here is this. Had those people not signed the terms of use in this centralized thing to earn interest on that product called Earn, I believe is the name of the product, they would have the rights still. They would have ownership rights over all of the crypto they deposited still. And they would be able to get that back rather than waiting in line as a creditor is my understanding of what it is. But you're absolutely right that they are still creditors to the bank that can, I shouldn't say I know for sure, but that would seem logical that they would be creditors to the bank now and that they can be a part of the claim. And, how long that takes, who knows? But now the judge has ruled that they basically surrendered the right to it. That means they have to get in line. So
there was something else I did see today. I think New York went after Mashinsky today, sued him for
I saw that.
AML, KYC stuff. So they're going to claw back stuff from all these senior guys. Because remember, they were moving stuff out right before this all happened. So they're going to pull all that back in. And then there's some people are speculating they're going to go after customers that withdrew in the last 90 days, but I don't see how that happens. I don't see how you go and pull that back from the market back into the bankruptcy court, because it's not like the Madoff stuff where there was, you were getting ill-gotten gains. This is just everything collapsed.
Right.
So, it wasn't, I don't even remember the interest. What they paying, like 19% or something?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. Alex Mashinsky sued by the New York Attorney General for allegedly hiding Celsius's dire financial condition. Yeah, well, that's not going to be difficult. If that's the case, that's going to be easy to prove because he was tweeting the fuck out of the fact that everything was fine.
Yeah,
and he was like calling everybody that said it wasn't fine a liar and a scammer. So he's well, it's going to cost him. It's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's not a jailable offense, but.
Yeah, you just got to clean it up and settle. And hopefully crypto comes back in the next 2 years. I mean, Bitcoin in particular, so that these will be easier to clean up with less losses. But we'll see.
Roberta says, what implications does it have for the FTX case? I think you're talking about Silvergate, but I'm not sure. Maybe you're talking about the Celsius case. If you're talking about the Celsius case, I don't know that there's any direct impact except if Celsius is owed money, or if Celsius is owed money by FTX or vice versa, but I don't know the details on that. Joe, I don't know if you've seen anything on that.
Yeah, no, but speaking of that, I think Shizzy sent me this, that, the feds just seized the $575 million worth of Robinhood stock that FTX, that Sam had bought.
Yep.
And now they're one of the largest shareholders of Robinhood.
Yeah, that's
kind of funny.
Nightmare.
But so you just see all the unraveling as these kind of like daisy chains of yield start coming apart. And so it just takes a while. Somebody eats it. Somebody doesn't have a chair, and and it goes to the next person. But you really want this settled out in New York bankruptcy court, or it would never get cleaned up. So nasty, messy stuff. But we have to unwind all this stuff. So
FTX's former top lawyer cooperated with the U.S. in Sam Bankman-Fried's case. So that's gonna.
Gosh darn! Wait. Chief fired in 2017. Wait, no, he started working in 2017. I saw fried and I read it as fired.
He resigned just days before it collapsed.
Yeah, well, he's smart enough to know at that point. You're the compliance guy. You better get your ass in and start whining and crying.
Yeah, you better start negotiating right away.
Because what SBF is going to say is, we hired compliance people. I thought they were doing their job. This guy came from wherever. And the fact that he didn't do his job, how is that my fault? Yeah, exactly. Sure, I'm responsible. I'm the top guy, but I can't watch everything. We hired him to do that. So.
Oh, wait, this was the guy. Oh, fuck. So this guy was the guy they hired. Remember, we talked about this. This is the guy they hired to do compliance, was also implicated in some kind of online scam related to an online poker site. And then they hired him to do compliance at FTX.
Yeah, that's just, look, nobody's doing due diligence anywhere, it seems, these days.
Eamon said they're also trying to recover the sold shares from buyers of the stocks as they were sold off, I think. Oh, okay. So clawing that back, I guess.
Yeah.
Shizzy said Friedberg was one of the ultimate bet lawyers present at a secretly recorded meeting. Aha. All right. Well, there you go. Anyway, I don't want to spend a ton of time on that shit, but it's
We're kind of. It's still unwinding.
Yeah.
But look, we've now everybody's kind of bit the bullet on this one, and there's not much worse that can come out of that. I mean, I think the only thing that everybody's waiting on is what's going to happen to DCG and that whole network. So, I think that keep building.
Yeah,
that's it. Keep building.
Cointelegraph's reporting. I saw this morning that Binance US trying to buy Voyager Digital. They are filing an objection to that. I think it's that they want. They're claiming that they just want more information. So I think they're just trying to stall it to see a lack of detail regarding Binance US ability to fund the acquisition. So I think what they're trying to. What I actually. As hard as I am on the SEC, Shizzy said Ultimate Poker had a God mode where you could see the other players' cards.
I saw that, man. I mean, I saw Shizzy's comment. I'm like, good gosh.
Sign me the fuck up.
I wish we could have that in trading, crypto trading.
Can I see the... Well, we kind of can.
I know, but we don't know who it is. Yeah.
Look, I think what they're trying to do here is prevent the same thing that happened with the FTX. They want to make sure that Binance is not buying up these assets to basically prevent the same kind of run that happened on FTX. I doubt that's the case, but who fucking knows? They had remember Binance US had the woman that was CEO for several years or a few years.
Yeah.
And then the guy from the former CFTC head took over as CEO. But he only lasted a few months. And so the rumors were he didn't like the shit that he saw. And they hired some other dude as CEO that nobody had ever heard of before. So, I guess you got to be careful of this shit. We'll see what happens.
Well, what they would want to see is, like you said, where's the money coming from? Whose money is it?
Can you pay for this shit?
And so they're going to try to get the linkage between Binance US and Binance.com. That's what they're trying to figure out, and how does that interrelate, and how does money flow between those two entities? Because they've been looking at Binance.com for 4 years now.
Yep.
And if they're just trying to find any reason now, it seems like to me, to do something, an enforcement action.
Shizzy says Brian Brooks, I think, is the new CEO of Binance US. Yeah.
No. Yeah,
Adam Cochran said exactly what you just said, Joe. He said the SEC is basically objecting on the grounds that Binance US couldn't have this size of assets without some untoward dealing, likely with Binance.com, which would mean a commingling of the U.S. entity. So if Binance fights it, they risk U.S. exposure. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a smart play because it doesn't sound like a full-on attack from the SEC, but, they're like, show us the money, basically.
Yeah, show us the money and where you got it. That's what we're asking. Yeah, show us where you got the fucking money. So anyway, interesting. Let's see what else we've got. Listen, anybody that wants an invite to Arkham, Joe and I both get found out that or everybody does. If you don't have an invite, ping one of us and we'll give you one. We're gonna split any tokens that Arkham gives us, but there was an email that was sent out from Arkham. So you can get an invite. I have 5 left. I think Joe has 10, whatever. But we're happy to get you guys signed up. It's a really good tool. We weren't promoting the tool for tokens. We just found out that we're going to get tokens for people using our invites or using our link, but we'll certainly take free tokens. So,
heck yeah.
If it's something
hire that intern.
If it's something you think you're going to use, feel free to reach out to one of us and we'll send you an invite. It's actually a really pretty cool tool. So let me see if I can get something loaded up here. So you can, this is the visualizer. This is Sifu's wallet, all the connected wallets, all the wallets he's done business with, smart contracts, etc. They have a dashboard that you can completely customize to see data and information. And this is yet another on-chain data competitor to the Masaris and the Nansons of the world. Had a little brain fart there.
Right.
And it's interesting, you know. I mean, so I'm assuming what they're going to do is they're going to have tokens, and you pay for the service with the tokens. So you buy their token, and some of their services I've used in the past, you either pay for the service with the tokens that you bought, or you stake the tokens and you get access to the tool. But that's just my assumption. I don't have any inside information on it. But the tool is pretty cool, and gives you more power for free right now than you can get on the other free options from competitors. So anyway, let's see what else I got. This was out the other day. I don't know, Joe. I don't understand. Look, I mean, I get the model for Litecoin is that it's faster, cheaper Bitcoin, right? And it's proof of work, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know what people are using it for. And I don't know why people are so interested in it to keep buying it up, but they are. Because I know that they have a pretty strong promotional team, and they do some development around it, and there are products that have been built around it. But this is not a smart contract based token. So I have a lot of trouble understanding how much or how far this thing can go when there's already Bitcoin, right? So why do we need Litecoin now? If you focused it on and released tools, like if I was running Litecoin, I focus it on payments, and I'd address what we talked about yesterday. Like build a payment gateway that's free, that has Litecoin as the default token, that gets it onto e-commerce sites, et cetera. Mm-hmm. You could then potentially turn this into a payments tool, right? And really make it like a centerpiece of e-commerce payments in the world, or some other payments in the world. But other than that, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but I just see one when you're scrolling down. I see they do have a halving this year coming up. It'd be their second one.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
I don't know how that plays, but yeah, that it is proof of work is interesting. I was in it some back in like 2018, 19, 17 timeframe.
Yeah, me too.
But again, I just never saw it. I just don't see what they're doing.
No,
so I don't. In ETH, I don't see how. What are they doing with it? It's a payment token, right?
Yeah, I mean it's Bitcoin Lite, right? And it's faster and cheaper transactions, right? Now Niblets did make the point: remittances and international transactions, where speed and cost are the only differentiators. Again, I think there's a place for a tool like that. Euphoric says, I've always used LTC to swap funds between different exchanges, as is accepted everywhere, and the transaction cost is cheaper than BTC. There's a use case.
That's a good point.
That's awesome.
That is good.
Yeah. And look, maybe they build, as part of their gateway, an easy swap between exchanges, right? Where it's just like, it's a little tool that you can use all the time to transfer data, but you don't have to worry about doing the swaps. I don't know. Anyway, I was just curious about it. So,
what's it trading at right now? What's it at right now?
Oh, I don't know. Hold
on,
I'll tell you.
What's up there? Solana's made a decent move the last couple of days. Yeah, look at that.
We talked about that yesterday. Had a nice little run there. Let me get over here to LTC. $74.
I remember seeing that going down to around $15 or so in like 2019 timeframe.
Possibly.
I mean, it went up to what, like 400 or 500. I mean, look, if you're gonna, it's gonna move when there's up only. That's for sure, because it's one of the ones that people pile into. So what is that? 200.
All-time high was 371. That was in May of 2021, which is an interesting.
When everything started going.
November high is 280. Low is back at $2 back in 2013. But
every time the market goes, look, there's the 18 peak, and there's that summer love one. I think in 2019 there was a little rally. I kind of exited. That's when I exited from Stellar and Tron and Cardano and that run up, the little middle hump.
Right.
And then of course, everything returned on the right hump to the high, and then the November hump, or the November spike. Look, it's
today.
Yeah, not enough, unfortunately. But the thing is that I guess, if you're in it, it's good. And it looks to me like it's not going anywhere, right?
Yep.
And, maybe it should be part of everyone's portfolio.
Wow. Eamon says he bought Sol at $8.38.
I know Shizzy bought some Sol too somewhere along the way, but
take that profit, boys.
Yeah, I mean,
some of it.
Guy from Bureau said, "Oh, here's we go. Good."
Litecoin is used for research and development of upgrades before they come to Bitcoin. If the next upgrade on Bitcoin is towards privacy, then that would make sense. Oh, that's really interesting, Nicola.
That's a great point.
That's awesome. I didn't.
Hey, welcome to the show, by the way, too, Nicola.
Yeah.
Or
Nicola,
commenting, anyhow. Sorry.
Yeah, we interact on Twitter a decent amount, so he's
cool.
He's appreciated that he's here. He says, Eamon says, "Nah, we're going to 8,000 right now." Just kidding. Hang in there, Eamon. Just keep holding. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, I saw somebody talking about Solana on Twitter today, and they're like, I'm really starting to like this. They haven't had an outage for 4 days or something like that. I was like, and then somebody else goes, "Oh, stop picking on them. It's in beta." And I'm like, I guess everything's in beta. But, look,
see,
I don't. Go ahead.
That's the problem. Okay, this is one of those kind of business components, right? Your brand is fucked.
Yeah.
You can't. You're not going to. I mean, I don't know what you could do. I mean, there are plenty of brands that have been fucked in the past and recovered and became players, but I don't know how you recover from this brand identity of that's the shit I have to restart. Has to get restarted all the time, right? How do you? I mean, I guess after 3 years of not rebooting it, then maybe your brand is okay. I don't know, but with all of the other options for blockchains in the world, I mean, the hundreds and hundreds of options, not hundreds and hundreds, but there's a lot of fucking chains out there.
Yeah, and a lot of new stuff. Yeah.
Why do I take a chance on Solana? Right? Why? I don't get it. I mean, sure, there's gains, but Niblet says fucked company DeFi edition. That'd be great.
God, remember that?
That's a long fucking list, Niblets. Nicholas says, "Cheers, guys. Glad to be here." We're glad you're here, bud.
Yeah, good. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah. So I mean, like, why? Why do I bother? I don't. Look. The one thing it has in its favor is
NFTs.
Well, and the JavaScript development environment that
Oh yeah, we're always talking
Rust,
about that.
Not JavaScript, Rust. Nicola said, "Could Vitalik's tweet about Solana have any weight? Thoughts?" I haven't seen it. Was there a recent one?
I saw something on Twitter like yesterday, or the day before, but I can't remember what it said. It might have been the thread when the people were joking about outages and things like that. Oh, what do we have there?
What?
It's like, well, you didn't see it, but your feed was up, and there was like a little video of some scantily clad enterprising interns chatting, and I'm like, oh, Brad's on Pornhub again.
Yeah. So I guess some smart people tell you these are earnest, smart development community in Solana. Now that the awful opportunistic money people have been washed out, the chain has a bright future. Hard for me to tell from outside, but I hope the community gets its fair chance to survive. That was on December 29th. I don't know.
I would take that as a positive.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, obviously there's something being thought about there.
Yeah.
With Vitalik is looking at that for something that we're probably not thinking about.
I'm trying to find. Come on. Where is that fucking?
Eamon said about Solana, except that FTX owned all the NFTs.
Exactly. Did you see this? That China's trying to prop up their real estate with this.
Good luck.
Residential real estate funds. The China Beige Book tweeted
stimulus. Yeah. I saw that. I follow this issue a lot. And what you're looking at is the Chinese real estate sector is a $29 trillion vertical market. And considering that a lot of it's completely friggin' empty, and there's no buyers, and it's like just people owning tons of units, nobody living in them, the real value is half of that right now. So everybody's talking about this, $14 trillion haircut. And the Chinese come out saying that they're going to prop them up or bail out the developers But what they typically do then is there's all these SOE, state-owned enterprises, left over from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and they just dump all the bad debt into these. Because I was looking at 4 or 5 of them about 15 years ago when I was doing a lot of work there, and there's nothing in them. It's just, they were just like looting the till kind of things for the party elite to just, you know, it was like a slush fund for them. So these SOEs are just riddled with massive quantities of debt. I mean, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars, and they won't kill them off because there's too many people that are going to get crushed. So, you know, they got to come up with $14 trillion to bail out the real estate sector in the middle of what appears to be a rampaging COVID epidemic that's just stacking bodies in all the hospitals.
Oh my God.
You know,
well, yeah,
they didn't have,
you know, I talked to somebody today that Europe's got a fucking mess going on. By the way, just on a COVID note, go ahead.
No, well, with the Chinese in particular, because they were, I mean, we bitch about lockdowns. I mean, these guys were locked down for 3 years, basically.
Right.
And I mean, and it just got worse and worse. I mean, to even go out of these apartment buildings that they live in, you had to get like, you know, swabs shoved up your nose and tested to even be able to go outside, because the app that you carry on your phone, if it doesn't have a green light, you get arrested, or it doesn't have a green thing. So that test negativity is on the app, allows you to go, and it has like some kind of transmitting thing. So if you go out and you're not clean, you know, they come and get you. Yeah. So they were ready to riot like a month ago. Well, now they're all out. And the one that's ripping through China right now, I believe, is Omicron. And all the Chinese vaccines were designed for the first main variant, don't cover Omicron. And in their over 60 population, I believe the vaccination rate of the original they don't do the mRNA stuff. They're doing old style Vax Tech. Has a 40% vaccination rate in the seniors. God, so there's this thing, they got white lung going on everywhere there. And yeah, it's like it's the COVID pneumonia stuff. And, you know, I mean, but of course they don't report any of the data, and they open up all the world for Chinese tourists to go flying out everywhere. They haven't let them go anywhere. I mean, and now they're letting them go. So China's going to be a shit show for 23. I don't see any, I mean, it might be stimulus being spent to try to prop these things up, but they're not going anywhere this year, in my opinion.
Niblet says Chinese accounting adds these empty ghost towns to GDP.
Yep.
Said it's hard to know how much of the GDP is real value or even real economic activity. Eamon says, man, some of the videos of people being dragged out of their homes by COVID patrollers and beaten was pretty insane. Yeah, it was fucking nuts, dude. Just insanity. Yeah, it's crazy.
But you know,
a new strain taking over in the U.S. 41% of the COVID infections now are a strain that avoids immunity and vaccine, and has a faster and stronger ability to penetrate whatever it does to take over. Yeah. So.
I heard, though, that the latest, the new booster, the combination booster or whatever, the latest one developed, it has some little bit of protection against that. But look, we have, what's the population is vaccinated, 65% or something like that here? Across the board, let's say average. Seniors, I think, are like 97% or something. So, and then on top of that, they say 70% of us have had COVID.
Right.
So when you take the vaccination and the 70%, I would suspect that 30% who didn't have it are probably mostly people who were vaccinated. It's my guess, but you know, maybe I'm wrong. So my point is that everybody's still got a little bit of protection from that. It's not going to kill us. And it's not going to for the most part. And then there's not the white lung issue with the pneumonia. So, you know, and then, but worse is the RSV going around right now, that kid virus. Yeah. Everybody's in the hospital sick with that. And then a flu and strep. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel lucky, actually, compared to when I see this China shit. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm dreading my kids going back to school Monday, because I think, you know, we all just got healthy because everybody was sick with whatever the fuck we had. And I know come Monday, you know, we're back in the
Petri dish.
Petri dish. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Words are not coming for me today. So I wouldn't be too worried about the UK's crypto crime fighting abilities anytime soon, because they're trying to hire a crypto expert for $50K.
I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but don't like Walmart cashiers make more than 50 grand? Exactly. I mean, Sorry, I'm not picking on Walmart or any cashiers. I mean, I've done tough manual labor in my life too. But I mean, come on, that should be, what, $400,000?
Exactly. It's
I
like, who
mean,
the fuck is going to take? Look, maybe there's somebody in crypto that's an expert and doesn't give a shit about the salary because they're rich and they've always wanted to be a cop. Who knows?
yeah,
Maybe that's who they get to take it.
or maybe it's 50K a month.
Nope.
So what do these do? They roll with like the squad.
And look, they don't want just any talent. They want people that are capable of identifying and recovering seed phrases.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, NCA, Cyberfolk, National Crime Unit launching dedicated crypto investigation UK cyber fund, blah, blah. Crypto cell, crypto focus unit, usually contain 5 officers dedicated to proactive cryptocurrency remit. This is a really exciting opportunity, which involves working as a team at the forefront of protecting the UK from cybercrime.
It's pitiful.
Whatever, man. Just take care of the terrorists.
Strong experience in conducting blockchain forensic investigations on serious and organized crime. Do you know how fucking much blockchain forensics companies pay people for that kind of experience? It's like you said, dude.
400 grand.
400 grand.
600 grand. Yeah. I mean,
maybe you could get some guy to do all 5 jobs for $250. I don't know. Nicholas says first world country offering just 50 grand for crime fighter. Perhaps it's just for the title. Yeah, maybe, you want to be, like I said, maybe you're already rich. You're like, fuck it. I'm going to go in and go after crime.
Go rouse some people.
Yeah.
Get some power.
The Spider-Man of crypto, just who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, well, most of the people that seem to be doing this have their seed phrases on a Post-it note on their laptop, so maybe they don't need the real sophisticated guys and gals.
Yeah, Niblin says, crooks who want an inside view would take that gig.
Good point. That's a great point. Oh, that's great.
If you've already stolen 10 million, take the job and then just make sure you never get that your crime never gets investigated, right? Euphoric says public service jobs are safer than being self-employed. Well, sure, I mean,
good point. Benefits,
but they can't even sell you on the benefits though, because everybody gets healthcare in UK, right?
Yeah, it's pretty shitty healthcare. I mean, not picking on any Brits, but my understanding is that I mean, I've heard of people, doctor friends of mine have told me that, people go in for, feel off, think they might have cancer or something. And they're like, all right, we'll book you an appointment. Come back in April, and they come back in and it's like stage 5 metastasized and they're dead basically.
Yeah. I've heard those stories, but I also have heard like Peter McCormick actually praises the system, I mean, look, anything would be better than what we have here. Look, I have private insurance that costs stupid fucking money every year. And if I want to get in to get if I want to get a sick appointment with my doctor, I can do that in a week or 2, right? Sometimes sooner if they have a cancellation. But if I want to get like a full-blown physical, I got to book that shit like 3 months in advance. And I'm paying premium fucking dollars for my health insurance. It's just stupid. Yeah.
It's like when you look at them, the ones like the top tier plans that are like 4 times as much as like the low tier plans. It's all about just being able to show up whenever you want for anything. Oh, I got a hangnail. Is it gangrene? Yeah. So it's like, that's what people do. Or I got a little cough. I mean, you know what it takes for me to go to the doctor? I'm feeling like I'm dying, basically. I
tell you, for our family, it's faster to go to an urgent care center and pay a $50 copay than it is to try to get in to see our doctors. So it's anyway. Euphoric says the NHS is on its knees. They're asking everyone to go private. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah,
that really sucks. So,
did we cover Amos?
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Laughing out. That's hilarious. They obviously don't understand anything at all. We're safe.
Oh man.
Euphoric says currently there is a waiting list for vasectomy in his area for 57 fucking weeks. Holy shit. All right, so no sex for a year and a month.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Twice ouch. Sorry, twice ouch.
I mean, you could use a condom.
Snip, snip.
Yeah. In the
Yeah, but it's well
UK, the
part of that shit.
NHS, National Health Service, will help you, fix you, and patch you up, but it'll take 6 to 12 months. That's ugly. Oh, fuck.
I mean, I love it. I would love it if we had health insurance that. I mean, I don't know. Do they pay? Do the Brits pay anything for the NHS health? Is there
I
like a
don't know how
small
it
payment,
works.
or is it
I
come
don't
out of
know.
like a BBC type fee, or? But God, the amounts
You
that we
just have to
pay. I
sit in the
mean,
waiting room and watch 4 hours of television commercials.
oh, while catching COVID and RSV and everything else.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing
Yeah.
I hate about hospitals is those waiting rooms, man. I'm like,
Well, that's
it's
what was
like,
cool about COVID. They would just have you sit in your car and then call you in when it was your time for your appointment. I wish they'd keep that shit up. I don't want to sit in the
dude,
waiting room.
your Barbara Stanwyck filter's on.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you're looking a little blurry there. But look, it would. I mean, look, the state should take care of basic health care. I'm sorry, it should.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that there's people running around with no access to any doctors in this country. But then people who have, I guess, more money should be able to pay for private insurance at the same
Of course.
time. I mean,
Of course.
so I don't. I think that all the insurance arguments in the U.S. It's all about, as I've said before, the local landed gentry class in the states. Because just like certain families get certain things in different states, there's a family in every state that controls the health insurance market, and their whole livelihood depends upon it. So when you reform it, they lose their income. So they're going to fight it, and they do everything at the local level. I think that's what most of all the Tea Party stuff and the Obamacare stuff and everything was all related kind of more to that. People getting spun up to go fight it because at the end of the day, doesn't everybody want free healthcare?
Of course.
I mean, I sure as hell do.
Yeah, I would love it. That'd
Here
be
we
nice.
go.
That would be a fat stack of cash back in my pocket every year, let me tell you. Because
Yeah.
I would just pay add-on. I would pay for add-on policies. If there was a
But you cover
medical, I would pay for add-on.
But you got 4 people in your family, right?
I got 4 people. Our monthly, the monthly that my company pays to insure my family of 4 is about $2,700.
Yeah. My daughter's on her mom's policy.
And then copays, deductibles, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just, look, I wish I was in the fucking health insurance business because they're making fucking bank.
It was funny. My daughter was, a little sick over the holidays. And so she'd been dealing with something for a few weeks. And so I took her to the hospital here and went in. And I mean, just night and day difference from the Miami hospitals, dude. It's like you're friggin' walking into a 4-star hotel. And there's 4 people attending her, and there's like everybody being nice and stuff, and they do it all. And I'm like, man, this is really cool. This is like a nice hospital. And then they come in, the insurance person wheels in their card, and they're like, all right, okay, everything's good. So it's a $400 deductible or copay today. Okay, now I get it. It's just $400 to show up.
Exactly.
And so. I mean, luckily that's, I can pay that, but a lot of people can't, they don't, they can't pay that. So that to me is something that we need to think about.
Nicola says there is a 1.25% tax on your earnings that goes to NHS. So it's not really much, but you can argue how reliable it really is. Euphoric says the issue with state-funded healthcare is it's unsustainable without incentives for people to keep themselves healthy.
Right.
And I think that's the narrative we have to flip, man. It's like, let's build the fucking incentives to be healthy, right? Can't we flip? I mean, as humans, we're spending all our time in the US fighting against insurance companies to get preventative, the latest shit, the latest healthcare, like for example, there is a new service here in the United States, costs, I think it's $4,500 for a full body MRI scan that can find and detect everything that's going on in your body, right? It does some kind of differentiation between the first one and the second one, and it can detect anything that comes up. So if you got this every 3 months or 6 months or whatever, it could prevent a shit ton of suffering and cost and expense. But we're going to be waiting for 5 years before insurance companies approve that, right? Whereas, so the only people that are going to get that are people that can afford that every 3 months or 6 months or a year to be able to do it. But our system operates so fucking slowly and so poorly that we could we could be probably spending and saving money incentivizing. Now, I will tell you, my health insurance company, United, actually does have a system that actually rewards you for participating in exercise programs, et cetera. So you get tokens, you get money off of particular deductibles and copays, et cetera. So they do that. They are incentivizing it, but I agree that's something that needs to become more cultural and part of society. Shizzy says in Philly, as long as you're using welfare insurance, appointments are easy to get the same day. Oh, interesting. He says he's not using welfare. He also says huge percentage of Philadelphia is on welfare. So when you are not, appointments are easy to get. Oh, I get it.
Oh,
interesting. Liblet says the U.S. follows a health insurance model, which is not a health care model. Radically different dynamics, costs, and benefits. That's a really good point. It is a health insurance model.
Yeah, no, because it's a reactive model. It's all designed to treat an incident. And, I think pharmaceutical companies, doctor treatments, all of that stuff, it's all designed then when, we know if you do preventative, encourage healthy behaviors. I mean, if they do it or not, that forestalls a lot of these chronic conditions. I mean, the diabetes and all those things leads to all these other things.
Exactly.
So, you have to get on top of that. But I think that's what, Affordable Care Act was trying to do to a certain extent. But, everything just gets bogged down. I remember going on a flight to DC once and I'm not trying to pick on anybody again, but, when I see like 40-year-old super obese people going in for hip replacements, I'm kind of like, what's the point?
Right.
And so it's preventative. Now, if you want the conservative argument, I could see what these are the people that are fighting Affordable Health Care Act. Why don't they say, it's pretty callous, but I could see they could be looking at each other and going, oh, we got to get these people more healthy, or otherwise they're all doing hip replacements and dropping, $2 million in healthcare expenses their last year of their life. I mean, that's the brutal thing, but that's what the conservatives should be thinking if that's what they believe. I mean, it's not my belief. I'm just saying that I don't see why preventative medicine doesn't fit into that.
Yeah, that argument goes even further. It's like drunk driving, using a gun, people that didn't want to get the COVID vaccine. There were a lot of people arguing during the height of COVID when the hospitals were overrun that the people that didn't want to take a COVID vaccine shouldn't be getting treated in front of people that did, that people that were willing to do what they needed to do. Anyway,
Yeah, that's the same. That's as bad as the other side, in my opinion,
Of course. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that there are a lot of things that can be prevented and stopped behaviorally, but, finding the key to that is difficult. And frankly, I think some kind of incentive program would be helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Niblet says insurance is there to compensate for loss, not for loss prevention or maintenance, and the financial flow accordingly. Right, I get it, but I also think that, like I said, my health insurance company focuses a lot on prevention. So you get a free health app membership. You get there's incentive programs. There's peer groups for weight loss. There's all kinds of shit that the insurance companies are smart enough to know from a business perspective. If they incentivize you to get healthy, they are less likely to have to pay out more later. So
right.
Nicholas says the more unhealthy the population is, the more they have to spend for healthcare, and I think that sums up the healthcare system in general. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yep.
Totally, absolutely.
There was something I read just before we finish up on healthcare that it was about the pandemic and when people were all, because I was looking at some stuff on, just stress and anxiety and how it's tearing the society apart. And do you know that during the pandemic, 18.6% of the adult population was on antidepressants?
Damn.
I mean, that's 1 in 5.
That's insane.
I mean, and, to me, that sounds like a little overprescribing to me, in my opinion. I know that, a lot of people need these drugs, but I think like a lot of younger people and teenagers encounter like difficulties. And then the first thing any therapist or doctor wants to do is put them on Zoloft.
Yep.
And that's the first thing they do out of the gate. Oh, get you on Zoloft. And I'm like, that's just pathetic in my mind. So I think that there is overprescribing. The society is breaking people because it's so, this society, because it's so stressful and there's no safety nets and, everything is live or die basically. And, that just has to change, or like Nicola said, it's going to stay an unhealthy population.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Nicholas says that the other side of the problem, medicalizing everything and then connecting that condition to medication. And Euphoric says the antidepressant debate is a complete clusterfuck. Yeah, totally agree. And look, if we really want to get to the bottom of this, let's solve the societal problems. Let's solve the problems that are causing the mental health issues first and foremost. And those are both, mental pressures in the society, as well as nutritional issues, as well as family, parenting issues. There are a number of issues we need to solve that we haven't solved that would probably result in physically healthier and mentally healthier population. So anyway, let's wrap it up, Joe.
All right, buddy. Good show, man. Good show.
Sideways. Love and appreciate all of you. Euphoric, Niplitz, Nicola, Robert, Shizzy. Am I missing anybody?
Did you get Euphoric?
Euphoric, I think I did, but thank you anyway, Euphoric. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I still love you. Love and appreciate all of you participating and being part of the show. Thank you so much for doing that. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please take a moment and subscribe and rate and review us. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe, click the little bell so you get alerted of new episodes. And please smash that thumbs up right now. Go ahead, right now. Smash it. Cool. Thank you. And that'll help us boost our reach. Appreciate you doing that. Love you and appreciate you. Joe is smashing the thumbs up. I like that. Smashing the thumbs up. I'm going to turn that into a GIF for my...
There you go.
For every time I post an episode, I'll do the smashing the thumbs up from Joe. Appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Hey, I don't have enough top 10s in the Reddit, Joe. So if you're listening and watching, you have any opinions on tokens, all of you, go post them in the Reddit. Joe, I think we need to move to everybody to Telegram. I set up a channel for us, but we can talk about
Let's do it. I feel like aren't we in Discord too? We're in Discord, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to Discord.
No, I'm sick of it. I want to kill off Reddit and Discord, and let's just all pile into Telegram because we're always there all day anyhow.
And now we have categories in Telegram. So I've already set up the group. Yeah, we can do categories. So you get a little bit of Discordy feel, but without all the fucking chaos and confusion. So anyway, we'll talk about that next week. So
yeah, thanks, Nicola. Good to have you,
Nicola,
buddy.
Thank you. We enjoy you being here, man. Thanks so much, and looking forward to you participating further. He said on the meds, thankfully, society is slowly sifting towards more research of psychedelics. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vastly more mental health benefits and help with traumatic experiences, dude. They are miracle drugs, and I don't mean that sarcastically. They are miracle fucking drugs for mental health issues. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
When you see what it does with vets with PTSD and things, the ayahuasca and the shrooms and everything.
Yep.
I mean, it's just night and day difference.
If I could, I would have everyone by the time they turn 16 do some kind of shrooms, acid, or controlled study psychedelic trip. So.
Yeah, I think.
Thanks, James. Appreciate you being here, buddy. James says, great show. All right, let's wrap it up.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a great day,
We're
everybody.
out. Cheers. See you.